Welcome back to my grave. How are you? How's it going, Tiffany? It's been so long. I know I say that every single time, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm a liar. Today, we have something very, very exciting, and that is a book haul. I know. You're like, Jordaline, what do you mean you're so frugal, especially when it comes to books? And you know what? You're right. I am truly a living saint, and you guys should all look up to me and try to do what I do. I'm living evidence of divinity, and I'm so glad that you see that, Tiffany. Even gods make mistakes. And I wouldn't even say that this book haul is a mistake because it was quite literally what I chose. But anyway, so I have a lot of books. Some of them are horror. Most of them are horror. I have a few fantasy. I've got one romance. Let's just stop yibber-yabbering and let's start talking about books. First of all, let's start with the man himself, David Sodergren. I bought 2 of his books recently, and then David Sodergren, sent me his newest release, which I think is actually out now. But I did on my own time and money buy 2 of his books. After reading 3 of his books last month, I'm obsessed. I think I'm going to do another reading vlog where I read more of his books. Let me know down below if you'd be into that. I feel like there's no way that Jordaline Reads could read one of his books and be like, yeah, that wasn't for me. That wasn't good. I don't see that happening for me. This doesn't seem possible. I did talk about Rotten Tommy quite recently. I think I talked about it in my TBR. And then I also have The Hare and Maggie's Grave. Let's talk about Maggie's Grave. So this is about a little Scottish village, and it's been dead for years. There are only 47 residents in this little village, this little town. People are leaving. People are dying. And it's just dwindling down. And there's not a lot to see. There's not a lot to do in this tiny little town in Scotland, except for a solitary grave near the top of the mountains. That's all it says. I literally have no other idea what this is about. David Sodergren's books, in case you don't know, are quite gory, quite gruesome. All of his books kind of have this slasher vibe. I'm assuming maybe that Maggie is gonna come out of her grave and be like, hey guys, what's up? It's gonna be vicious and try to kill people or whatever. I haven't read it. I'm not a scientist. The hare, I'm not sure. This is about a girl named Muriel. We have Muriel, right? She lives in this tiny little Scottish fishing village. And Muriel is listen, I'm gonna live here and I'm gonna fucking die here as well. Okay, that's my plan. That's what I'm gonna do. And then this overseas property developer comes in and he threatens to evict everyone. He's like, we're gonna buy this place up and you guys can get the fuck out. How about that? Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's like, no, this is our home. These are our lawns or whatever. Until the day a mysterious fog bank creeps inward. To some, it brings redemption. To others, it brings only madness and death. I literally have no idea. I'm assuming that maybe the hare, also somebody knows how to pronounce that, please let me know. I'm assuming that the hare is some kind of malevolent being that protects this area. I literally have no idea. Rotten Tommy, which is his newest book, and I do believe it came out recently. And this is about Becky Sharp. So it's been 40 years since Becky's mom vanished without a trace. It was as if one day she was just there and then the next moment, poof, gone, nothing. Becky has been just trying to find hope in finding clues and finding evidence as to what the fuck happened to her mom. And so Becky is in her childhood home looking around like she does, and she finds 3 videotapes inside of the wall in her childhood home. So she takes these videotapes and she puts them in the little VCR because she still has a VCR, who doesn't? As Becky watches the tapes, she finds herself drawn into a horrific mystery far greater than she could have possibly imagined. For she's summoned something horrifying, a creature that threatens the lives and sanities of those all around her. Becky basically summons Rotten Tommy, who I'm assuming is this fucking guy, and nobody wants to be around this fucking guy. Sorry, Tommy, but you're literally not the vibe. I love David Sodergren so much. Even though literally every single time he breaks my heart, but it's fine. I still keep coming back for more. So I'm very excited to read these. Let me know if you want to see another reading vlog. Let's also talk about this other horror novel that I bought because I just keep seeing it places. At first I wasn't even interested. I was like, whatever. When you see the cover of something so many times, you just kind of tune it out. But then I heard about what it was about, and that is This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. So this is a fight for your life, I think survival kind of horror moment. In this, we're following Dylan. Dylan is a rock climber, and she wants to be the best of the best rock climbers, okay? Her friend like comes up to her and is like, hey Dylan, I found this cliff that like nobody else seems to be going like towards, and like nobody's discovered it yet, and like I feel like we could be the first ones to discover it. And Dylan immediately is like, hell yes, I'm gonna like document the whole thing on Instagram and on Twitter, and like I'm gonna become fucking world famous for being the first person to climb this fucking cliff mountain thing. I don't know how rock climbing works. They go together, Dylan and their friend, whose name is Clay, and then also we have Sylvia, who is Clay's assistant, and then also Dylan's boyfriend, who is this guy named Luke. 7 months later, 3 bodies are found. One of them is just like a full fucking skeleton. One of them is still decaying. There's still like muscle and tissue on the corpse, but their organs have been removed. There's another one that is missing like their tongue, their eyes, their ears, and their fingers. And so everybody is kind of like, okay, suspicious and weird. What happened to these 3 hikers? What happened to these 3 people? Did they come to cannibalism? Was it like something else? Did the wilderness get to them? Also, Dylan has not been found. Dylan is still missing, and there are literally no traces of her whatsoever. What happened on that cliff? I don't know why I was skimming over it. Like, it sounds so fucking good. I'm going to talk about this really quickly because I have talked about this in another video, and I just bought it to get like a physical copy, but then I spilled Coke on it. Like, not like drugs, but like Coca-Cola. I bought my copy and then immediately destroyed it. I think I'm going to buy another copy, just like throw this one away or something. I don't know. Unless somebody wants it. I have Tapeworm in by Judith Sonnet. I know that a lot of people are freaked out by this cover, but I am obsessed with it. I think it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The inside of it is all warped. Even though I've like spilled liquids on books many a time, I still have no idea what to do. The book is basically ruined. Like, look at that. That's crazy. And in case you don't know, this is basically like an extreme horror novella. It's like very short. I think it's like 50 pages long. And it's about this guy. He's in like university. He has his crush on this girl. And he finds out that this girl wants to have the sexual relations with him. Our guy is like, hell yeah, man. I'm gonna get into that puss or whatever. I don't know what dudes sound like. He and this girl get it on. However, there may be something a bit more sinister going on, and there might be some kind of sexually transmitted disease that this girl has. It's fucked up. I want to get a new copy, but you know, I did buy this. Let's also talk about these 2 books, which I think I also talked about in my May TBR, and that is The Fungus and Carnosaur by Harry Adam Knight. Let's talk about The Fungus. So The Fungus is about this like scientist or like a group of scientists, and they are really like devoted to ending world hunger. They're like, what if nobody was like hungry? What if everybody had enough food to eat? They think, you know what we should do is make just a giant mushroom. It's like a giant shroom, and like that'll solve it. And so they create this huge mushroom, but then the spores, the fungus gets out of the lab, spread across England, and it says toadstools grow to 20 feet tall, and a case of athlete's foot can mean a grisly and horrible death. And those who die quickly are the lucky ones. Those who survive infection by the fungus will be transformed into something unthinkably monstrous. This sounds a lot like The Last of Us. I've never seen The Last of Us. I've never played The Last of Us. I hate zombies. If you know anything about me, I fucking hate zombies. I honestly didn't even piece it together until people in the comments were like, oh my god, that's just The Last of Us. Everyone is just stealing from Harry Adam Knight. I wonder if he's still alive, honestly. I also did Purchas Carnosaur, also by Harry Adam Knight. I'm obsessed with this cover. Carnosaur is very similar to Jurassic Park and was released, I believe, a few years before Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. This is about this tiny little town called Worcester. And nothing really important happens in Worcester. Nothing like big happens. But one day there is this farmer who's found savagely killed. It's very fucked up. His body's all fucked up, right? You can barely recognize him. And everyone is kind of like, okay, but is this like a bear attack? Was this like some kind of animal, like a hyena maybe? It's a bit weird. And this attack is a huge story for this guy named David Pascal. David is like going around and he's trying to get the story, blah, blah, blah. And there's this like rich dude. He's like the most rich guy in this area. And his name is Sir Darren Penward. And he tells them that like something escaped from the zoo. Yeah, it was like a zoo animal that escaped, and it was just like such a bummer. Like so sad. So sad. But like definitely a zoo animal, and like not anything nefarious. It's definitely not from like somebody in the town. It's a zoo animal. And so he tells everybody that. And everyone's like, first of all, how would you even know that, Mr. Penward? Then there's somebody else, eyewitness, comes forward, and they're like, it wasn't a zoo animal. It was And like, listen, this is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna seem like I'm a fucking crazy person, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I saw it and I saw what I saw. I saw something that has to have been extinct for about 60 million years. And it definitely was not a zoo animal. Like, you don't have zoo animals like that here in Worcester. I saw a fucking dinosaur. So David Pascal specifically, this like investigator, this journalist is like, okay, what the fuck is Penward hiding? He's super suspicious. Pascal is also like wanting to uncover the truth before Penward's creature escapes to wreak havoc and murder on all of these unsuspecting people in Worcester. Bro, I think I need to read this as soon as possible. It sounds so good. And okay, so next up I have Iguana by Samantha Kolesnik. If you know me even a little bit, you know that I am a Kolesnik stan. She doesn't know I exist. If you came to my apartment, you'd probably find like a shrine. I'm not even joking. Like, just off to the side of this camera's view is just a wall. Just a creepy fucking shrine. Anyway, not to be weird, but definitely to be weird. This is a horror, post-apocalyptic, coming-of-age story about two queer kids just falling in love. So this is about this girl named Verna. Verna is living post-apocalypse. She's living in the times after. There's this like giant sort of sea creature thing that's like awoken and is like, I was asleep for a long time, but now I'm awake and the world is mine. Like, that's the vibe. So Verna is just trying to keep her family, trying to keep her new girlfriend safe as fuck. Just trying to keep them safe as sound, okay? But in this time, there's a bunch of like religious zealots. There's a bunch of weirdos like around or whatever. So Verna has a lot to try to like protect everyone from. But whilst all of this chaos is happening, the Iglona calls. I think maybe the Iglona. I think it's like the sea monster maybe. Either way, come on. If you have not picked up any of Samantha Kolesnik's books, my dude, my brother in Christ, you need to fucking do it right now. What are you even waiting for? Samantha is just turning out hit after hit after hit. And like, listen, it's all horror. It's all kind of weird, but I love it. The last like paperback horror kind of thing that I have is this book, which is called Man, Fuck This House. This is by Brian Assman. Assman? I'm literally 12 years old. Don't judge me. I've seen this book just around. I was like in my local bookstore one day and I was like, oh my God, they have this book and I've seen it like on Amazon and it was only $14. If you know me at all, you know that if something is like $14, that's basically free. So I bought it. In this, we're following the Haskins family. Now, specifically, I think we're following Sabrina, who is like the mother. And then we have her husband and the father named Hal. So his name is Hal Haskins. Yikes. And then we also have their children, Damien and Michaela. Sabrina is like a homemaker. She's like a stay-at-home mom. Hal is a mortgage broker and their children are bright and precocious. And they move into this new house. It's perfect. It's everything they wanted. The price was right. It has enough rooms. People are excited really for like a new start. That's how I always feel when I move somewhere new. It's like there's like a new start. There's a thing of like being fresh, you know? After they move in, things get a little bit weird, as you would expect in a haunted house story. They start hearing odd noises. Specifically, Sabrina starts hearing odd noises, seeing strange visions. Their neighbors are like either like really fucking weird, just like bonkos. That's not a word. Or they're just like not there, just absent, right? They never see some of their neighbors. Sabrina's already fraught relationship with her son is about to be tested in a way that no parent could ever imagine. I don't know what that means. While the Haskins family might be the newest owners of 4596 James Circle, they're far from its only residents. Also, the font is huge. I'm very excited to read this. I love a haunted house. I want to start reading more haunted house books. Let's talk about the last paperback, which isn't horror, but it is a romance. My friend and I saw this cover at the bookstore, like I think a few weeks ago, like a month ago, and we were both just like, whoa, whoa. Why is this so beautiful? I wanted it immediately, but I didn't buy it then. And then I went to a bookstore that was specifically for romance novels and I saw it there and I was like, it's a sign. I did pick up Don't Want You Like a Best Friend. Princesses, it's gay. There's like a reference to the fact that like gay women fall in love with their best friends. I love it. Anyway, okay. This is set in 1857. We have this like girl named Beth and she's like an anxious debutante type. Basically the survival of her family is on her shoulders, because if she doesn't find some kind of husband this season to support her and her mom, they're out of fucking luck. But then there's also this other girl named Gwen who's in her 4th season of like this courting thing, and she's like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna marry some dude, like, ever. It's never gonna happen, because her daddy, little Dado, is pretty rich, okay? He's like an earl or something. It doesn't take long really for Gwen and Beth to start like hatching plans to try to get their parents together. The only issue is really that their parents hate each other. It gets even more complicated when this like guy shows interest in Beth, and he's like, oh my god, Beth, I want to like marry you or whatever. And Gwen is a little jealousy. She's a little jelly girl. She's like a little jealous of this dude, because she's like, wait a minute, I was just being mischievous and hatching little plans and being gay or whatever. But then also I was like falling in love with my best friend, and now she might marry a dude. It's like not the vibe. I don't like that even a little bit. I love this so much. They're both little pretty princesses. They're both gay as fuck. I'm so excited to read this. Let me know in the comments if you've read this and tell me what you thought of it. Let's take a little detour to fantasy, okay? You know that thing where you like look at a book online or in store or whatever, you have interest in it, you want it, but you don't have like the willpower, you don't have like the urge to buy it. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel about these books. I've had these books in my like save for later section of my cart for so long. I was like, I want them, they look cool, but I'm not gonna spend $40 on each of them. Like, that's crazy. I don't want them that badly. But then I saw them on sale, so I bought them. The Justice of Kings, book 2, The Tyranny of Faith. Are you joking? Are you actually kidding? These are stunning, Tiffany. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna try to pull one over your little pretty head. I have no idea what these are about. Literally none. I just know that they're like fantasy books and that they were pretty. And then they were $8 each. And then also the third one I think came out recently. So yeah, I have these now. They're just so pretty. Look at them. Did I buy them mainly specifically for the covers? Kind of. You caught me. Tiffany, tell me why this sounds like a fantasy mystery novel. This is about Conrad, right? He lives in what is called the Empire of the Wolf, and there is unrest in this kingdom because a bunch of people are like after this imperial throne kind of deal. Kind of like Game of Thrones, but like not. But Conrad is like a 6-in-1 shampoo, body wash, conditioner. He's one of those guys. He has like multiple jobs. He's like very much like a multifaceted person, like executioner, he's like a sorcerer, he's a judge, he's like a detective. He does all of these things. Not only that, he also has this other person whose name is Helena. She's his protege. Conrad and Helena start doing a little bit of detective work, and they start investigating this murder of this like high-ranking dude. They unearth a conspiracy that stretches to the very top of imperial society. Conrad and Helena must make a choice. Will they abandon the laws they've sworn to uphold in order to protect the empire? I'm assuming that this is Helena and that this is Conrad. Honestly, they're both kind of hot. I'm very excited to read these. Look how pretty they are in the spine. Very similarly to how like $14 is basically free. $16 is like, it's not free, but it's like basically free. $16 in math is like $4. I also happened to pick up Leigh Bardugo's new book, which is The Familiar. I don't know how I feel about Leigh Bardugo, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know. When I saw that she had this book coming out, I was kind of like, okay, Leah, that's cool. But like then also I saw the cover and I was like, it's literally stunning and gorgeous and like it's everything I've ever wanted and needed. So like I love this cover so much. It's so pretty. And then also these edges are sprayed. Like how could I not buy it? It was really, really pretty. Do you know what I mean? Am I a fucking fool, Tiffany? I think I might be a fucking fool, but also is it that bad when it's like this pretty? I hope it's good, honestly. Let me know down below if you've read this book and what you thought of it. I would love to know your opinion, because like if it's not good, I'm gonna look like Boo Boo the fucking fool, because I paid like $30 for this and that's crazy. Oh my god, look how pretty this, like it sparkles. I did read the synopsis for this like a few times. Genuinely, no idea what this is about, but look at these end papers. Are you joking me? Leigh Bardugo's books sometimes suck ass. Sometimes Leigh Bardugo's books just have their full fucking mouth on someone's asshole. That's literally it. They're just, but you cannot say that this bitch doesn't have just the most beautiful book designs. And this is about this girl. called Luzia. I think I'm saying that right. I might be saying that wrong. Luzia is this like scallion, which I'm assuming is kind of like a peasant maybe. And she works for this like woman. And Luzia is kind of like always doing a little bit of magic, you know, just like scraps of it really. And one day her mistress sees her doing this magic and she's like, oh my God, Luzia, come here. Come here right now. Do this magic and get us some better standing in terms of like socially. So Luzia is like, fine, I'll do it, whatever. But then she catches the eye of this guy whose name is Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. And he's still reeling from defeat from like the Armada. The king is desperate for any advantage in the war against England's heretic queen. They're like, there's this like Luzia girl. I feel like I could just keep saying her name wrong and more wrong. Luzia plunges into a world of seers and alchemists, holy men and hucksters, where the lines between magic, science, and fraud are never certain. But as her notoriety grows, so does the danger that her Jewish blood will doom her to the Inquisition's wrath. Am I super excited for this? Not really. I'm gonna be honest with you, Tiffany. I bought the book. Like, is this my pizza pie? Not really. We'll fucking see. Who knows? Let's go back to horror for a second. I have The Dead Take the A Train. This is by Cassandra Khaw and Richard Cradray. I'm obsessed with this cover. I got this off of Book Outlet. It was like, I think like $10 or something for the hardcover. I really need to start using Book Outlet more. There's so many good deals. My least favorite thing in the world, going on Book Outlet and seeing like all of these books that I paid full price for now for like $8.99. That shit's so fucking annoying. The Dead Take the A Train. This I think is like a cosmic sci-fi kind of horror. In this book, we're following this girl named Julie. Julie is like a burnt out, coked up fucking freak. Julie is not really like a model citizen. She'll do basically anything for any kind of money, for any kind of power, any kind of position. Also, can I just say that the end covers for these as well? Stunning. She'll do anything to really establish herself in the magic scene of New York City, including gruesome gigs, exorcise the most nastiest demons, and make deals with the cruelest gods to claw her way to the top. But then it's one day when her friend Sarah, like her best friend Sarah, comes to her. She's like, okay, wait, this is actually serious. I need to like put my game face on. Sarah is in trouble. And Julie is like, I'm gonna do anything I possibly can to keep you fucking safe, okay? Julie is desperate for a fix to break the dead end grind and save her friend. But her power grab sets off a deadly chain of events that put Sarah and the rest of the world directly in the path of annihilation. The synopsis, the cover, let me know if this is crazy or not. This kind of reminds me of John Dies at the End, even though I've never read John Dies at the End. It just kind of has that vibe to me. Am I crazy for thinking that? I do have this book, which is for my Patreon book club. I think it was for April, to be honest. And that is Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpston. I've been really excited to read this. This, from what I know, is about, because I haven't read it yet, this is about this couple, these two girls, they're dating. They are gonna go see one of the girls' parents for the first time. And this is like present day. And then we go back in the past, like 20 years. There's this woman driving a car, you know, down the road, and she sees just a little corpse. You know how sometimes you just like see a corpse on the road? She sees the corpse and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna take that home. This bitch gets out of her car, picks up the corpse, puts it in her car, and drives home with it, and then goes into her barn with this corpse and does some weird fuck shit. Back in the future, we know that the girl who had the corpse in the barn is the mother that they're about to meet. I literally don't know what to expect. I just honestly kind of expect it to be freaky deaky, eeky leaky, but like not in a good way. The last book that I have is called Hench by Natalie Zena Walsh-Scotch. I really like this cover a lot, and I have heard amazing things about this book. I honestly bought this book for like $6 on Amazon. It's an old library copy, but it's in basically perfect condition. Hench is about Anna. Anna is your everyday average kind of girl. She works for this like villain type of guy, because in this world there are like villains and heroes. And so Anna is working for this villain simply because she needs a job. The job isn't bad. Like they need to have paperwork done too, in a way, right? So Anna is kind of just like off on the sidelines, whatever. Anna doesn't like working for the villains, but it's a job. A job is a job. And then one day everything goes wrong. Anna ends up getting super injured. She was injured by a so-called hero. But when she looks around after getting up and looking around, She's actually kind of lucky because everyone else is fucking dead by the hands of this hero. And so Anna is like, wait a minute, I work for the villains. I expect this kind of thing. But these heroes. So Anna starts to do the work, starts to put in a little bit of science and math and shit into it. After she got injured, she was basically fired. So she has all of this time to do all this like data and analysis between like the heroes and the villains and blah, blah, blah. And she finds that really the only difference between the villain and the hero is marketing. And then she gets another job with one of the most well-known and worst villains in the world. And as she becomes an increasingly valuable lieutenant, she might just save the world. Kind of seems like a villain origin story, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of like, based on the synopsis, I kind of get the vibe that she's like a good guy, but then also like, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? What is a good guy? Anyway, my friends, my family, my familia, thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was so much fun seeing you and talking to you and having you around. It was really great. Hope we can do this again soon. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, if you own any of these books, if you want to read any of, let me know. I want to know. Just talk to me about books, okay? Thanks. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit, we talk about creepy shit, we talk about David Sodergren and Carnosaur and shit. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Goodbye, Tiffany. Goodbye. Goodbye.